You know what is so crazy to me about seeing another black boy be unalived in this country is all over my feed, I'm seeing these black creators talking about it, grieving about it. I'm seeing these comments of people, being here for each other. And I know that right now, as I'm looking at that content, those moms of those white boys in Mississippi are all trying to figure out a way to keep them out of jail or to keep them without consequences. Instead of getting to the bottom of it, getting the real answers, getting the real proper truth, finding out what happened, because white women are disappointing. So, I don't know. I believe we can do better. But
Now, surprising to me, there's some events and things that's going on down there in Mississippi. We all know about the suspicious unaliving of Nolan Wells. You know, he went on a boat out to a small island off the coast of Mississippi, and he was ultimately, Horn Island. And he didn't. The 4W boys came back, but he didn't. They brought his cell phone back to his mother, right? That was it, but he never came back. 2 days later, his body washed up to shore. And everybody is asking questions, but what's surprising to me is a lot of W folks are calling out other white folks. And they're saying they're tired of it. They're saying this is wrong, right? Now I've seen some W men go online and make excuses and say this is not about race, but there's a lot of other W folks out of Mississippi that says that's a lie. Yes, it is about race, because if you switch this around and it was 4 black boys and 1 W boy, man, the whole world, they will be going crazy, right? You leave and then y'all come back without him, right? So now the family has raised over $124,000 on that GoFundMe, and they've hired civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump. I don't know why, but they've hired Benjamin Crump. So Benjamin Crump he's now on the scene, and he came, he made this statement. We've been retained by the family of Nolan Wells, a beloved son, teammate, and friend who went out to celebrate the 4th of July and never came home. The wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College was preparing to return for the upcoming football season and will have turned 19 next month. His family deserves answers. They deserve the truth. We would not rest until every fact about what happened to Nolan on Horn Island is brought to light. And we call on investigators to pursue this case with the urgency and transparency the family deserves, right? So there's a lot of people calling this out.
We don't just ask for justice, we demand it, we fight for it, and we achieve it.
So often we get asked the question about the differences between the police departments or law enforcement trying to stonewall the requests that we make and the evidence that we're asking for versus a large corporation with so many resources trying to essentially do the same thing, to bury the evidence that we're asking for. It's essentially the same thing. If we take this idea of trying to hide and to bury, it's just simply a tactic that many people use to just avoid accountability.
Katie McCormick, the girl that Nolan was talking to and was last seen with before he attempted to reignite with or unite with his friends, she is now going to be cooperating with the police. Okay, her family has lawyered up and they have released a statement basically letting it be known that they will be cooperating with the police. Katie recounted her meeting with Nolan, stating that he was supposed to, they were together, her parents spun the block and came and picked her up. And he was supposed to return back to the boat with his friends because there were several boats in the vicinity. And from her knowledge that he had gotten back to that boat with those friends safely, putting Nolan's last encounter or his last known encounter when he was alive with the friends.
Now, they're dropping some good informative information, but when you deal with the police chief down there, John Ledbury, he went on Good Morning America and just said some weirdo stuff, man. And like I said, man, you can't make this stuff up with a lot of these W men out here, man. Not all of them, but a whole lot of them. A whole lot of them are crazy, man. And they say a lot of stuff, man. This thing is real goofy.
Nolan Wells was on a boat. He left from a private dock area in the Ocean Springs area and proceeded with his friends to Horn Island. They left and went back without Nolan. From what we understand, he chose to stay there.
Now that's just crazy. Now this man goes on Good Morning America and say that he chose to stay there. Why would he choose to stay on the island? Give them boys his phone. I'm just gonna stay here by myself, man. I got this, man. You know what? I'm tired of humanity. I'm gonna stay on this island alone. Me and whatever else might come out at nighttime. We just gonna kick it and chill. That's what I'm gonna do, right? Come on, man. I was born tonight, but it wasn't last night. And the crazy thing is, a lot of white America is tired of this. And they're calling these W folks out down there in Mississippi, right? The old school Make America Great Again, Mississippi, right? I'm talking about the cotton plantation, Mississippi. They tired of it, right? And they coming out here and they giving forewarning to black folks about their own people. This ain't me, this is them.
Black people, you have got to teach your kids, especially your kids that are hanging out with rich white kids. That is not good. You gotta stop letting them hang out with rich white kids. This Nolan Wells situation never should have happened. The parents of Nolan Wells should have known better than to let him hang out with these kids. I have an older son. I'm not saying it's the parents' fault, but I'm just saying it happens all the time. My older son is half black. He looked more black than he did half. We as parents, we have to do a better job in informing our children about who they should and shouldn't hang out with, because matters. The color of your skin matters, especially when you're hanging out with a bunch of rich kids that have, doctors and lawyers and judges as parents. You know that your kid is going to either wind up locked up or dead. So my heart goes out to Nolan Wells' family. I really hate that it happened to him, but you gotta protect your children, because white people will kill your children at the drop of a hat. That's just the way it is, especially these entitled little rich white kids.
Now that's from the words of a true W man. Not George Macon, not Street Media TV, not no foundational black Americans, none of them. They know their people more than anybody. More than anybody. And a lot of them are sick of it, right? We're talking about reparations. They learned, a lot of them never learned the history of black Americans and what their forefathers did to us. They never really told them those stories. They just told them to stay away from us, showed the news every day, said that those guys are violent, big dick beast. That's what they was calling us, right? Keep your women away from them. They'll rupture her insides and leave her a baby mom. And the women are loud and aggressive, and right? This is what they said about us. They start studying our history and start finding out, well, wait a minute. My grandfather was complicit in this. My grandmother did this. And a lot of them are ashamed. So now when you see these W folks still carrying on and acting out the stuff they did with Make America Great Again, a lot of W folks are calling this out, right? Now, the parents, they put up that GoFundMe that raised over 100,000 so far. Christine Woolley, she had to go because people was putting out fake ones to make money, right? This is the one and only official GoFundMe. Please do not report this GoFundMe account, right? Because people was reporting the accounts because people was putting up fake GoFundMes to make money. But white America, W America wasn't finished. There's a lot of W folks that don't like this. This smells like trash truck juice. The lies that that the police and everybody's putting out, and a lot of W folks are not with it. They're telling.
I need all white people to lock in and listen to this. It is your job. If you are raising children, if you're a parent, caregiver, in any form, uncle, auntie, whatever, grandparent, it is your job to make sure that your white children protect their black and brown friends. You hear me? They need to protect any of their friends that are not white. There's absolutely no excuse for going out to an island with your friends and one of them not come back, and that one happens to be a black boy. You need to not only teach your children to be anti-racist, but you need to teach them, no matter who they're with, that when they go somewhere together, they come home together, and you don't leave until they're with you. If you can't find them, you need to contact authorities immediately. There's absolutely no excuse. There's a reason that specifically black people teach their children not to be the only black friend in their friend groups because of stuff like this, because this happens time and time again. When are you going to learn to teach your children? It's your responsibility, not theirs. They shouldn't have to continue in 2026 to teach their children how to survive friendship. Nolan Wells should be alive. There is no reason for this other than what the obvious is. These kids are saying that they don't remember, they don't know what happened, that he went off with some girl or whatever. Bullshit. They know what happened. They had his phone. Do better. This can't keep happening. And to Nolan's parents, my heart is broken for you, and I am so sorry for your loss. I pray for justice and for your strength.
Uh-oh, you got W woman's tears, right? For a black boy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, somebody in trouble. The W woman is crying? Yeah. They gonna bring you want to see some changes real fast. It's gonna be some moving parts going around, right? Because a lot of W folks down there don't like what they're seeing, and they're calling this out, right? And they're saying listen, they're using the same analogy, like keep your children away from these people, especially those elite W's. They will do real bad things to your children and then make ways for them to get away with it. I'd be surprised when the it's funny how when these black conservatives hear them, oh, these are just liberals. No, these are W folks that know their people, and they're learning the history of their people. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think about this, man. What's your opinion on this, man? Nolan Wells, these W folks, right? Everything. Leave your opinion. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.